What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Catch Me Off Road channel, back at it again. This is one day after the previous video that you guys saw. Yesterday we installed the light bar as well as the whole front bumper, the ADD Pro bolt-on bumper, and we added these 4 Baja Designs LP6 lights, 2 amber and 2 in white. And today our goal is to get them wired up. So I just pulled into the shop. A quick update yesterday also. I was worried, if you guys watched the last video, I was worried about the this parking sensor on the end right here because it's not really mounted in super well. As you can see, it's kind of loose. Moves around a little bit. Luckily I didn't get any lights or anything like that on the dashboard saying my sensors were screwed up, so I'm happy with that. I'm still going to message ADD. Today's Sunday, so they're not even open today, but probably tomorrow morning, Monday. Message them, see if they can find out what's going on with that. But for today's video, I would like to use these wiring harnesses that, so when you order LP6s, there's the option to add a wiring harness, so you don't have to make your own. The lights actually come with a plug that looks just like this, and it's got 4 pins in it, and that is because the lights have, one of them is a ground with a black wire, and then there's a low and a high output setting for the main light. So that's the other 2 wires, and then the 4th one is the backlight, the amber backlights. So LP6s, LP4s, LP9s, all the LP series, they come with 4 wires, and that's what those are for. So today we're going to try to use these wiring harnesses that came with the lights. Like I said, you can either order the lights themselves, and they come with a clip like this, a little connector, and it just has 4 pins, and you plug your own 4 wires in and run them wherever you want. Or you can buy these harnesses that come with relays built in. They come with a fuse. This one right here, this specific example, came with a switch as well, a 3-way switch, and I'm assuming that's for low beam, high beam, and off. I don't know, I gotta look into that, but I'm not using that switch anyway. So that's one of the wiring harnesses. Is the other one right here, and I'll show you the part number right there. 2 light Max Baja Designs for LP9 and LP6s right there. So this is what we're going to try to use and wire them up. My goal is to have them on, so currently I have amber backlights in these M&R automotive lights, and they're on the sides there, and then I have the white beam in the middle. And so I want to wire up the amber beam on those, or the amber backlight, to be on the same switch as the amber backlights on all of the lights. So when I hit one switch on my auxiliary upfitter switches in the TRX, it will turn on all of the amber backlighting, and it'll look kind of cool. And then I'm going to have another switch for the 2 whites, and then another switch for the 2 yellows or ambers. So that's 3 switches we're going to use today. I already have 3 that are being used currently, so I have 3 left, so this should work out very nicely. Some TRXs, the higher level ones that have like a trailer brake controller or a backup control, I can't remember which one it is, but it removes 2 of your auxiliary switches, so you only have 4. So they would have to figure something else out for the setup. But luckily I have 6 switches. I'm going to be using them all on lighting basically, because I also have backlights. So I have amber backlights, amber up here, white lights. So anyway, sorry, actually I'm going to use 5 of the switches today because I'm actually reusing one of the ambers, the backlights for those lights, and these ones are all on the same switch. But when I add my light bar, I will have used all 6. So the light bar is going to be going in there. It's a 30-inch light bar, maybe even a double if I can fit 2 in there from M&R Automotive. So enough babbling, let's get to work. Okay guys, so I just got done wiring. I've been spending a little time researching this, but I've got done wiring the first 2, the white lights. And I ended up not even using the factory the harness that I ordered. Well, I used it for parts, basically. I cut it all apart. Here's the deal. So let me tell you how these things work for those of you who order these harnesses. They're really designed for someone who doesn't have auxiliary switches, and you'd use this switch to perform all the functions that you'd like. Since I do have auxiliary switches in the Ram, also, you know, Jeeps have those, Raptors, etc. So you're probably going to end up butchering this thing up, or there's another way you can do it by adding an additional relay or 2 additional relays, depending on if you want to use low beam and high beam. I'll just show you what I did, and you can learn from that. So as I mentioned earlier, the LPs have a harness that connects to them with 4 wires. It's a ground, amber backlight, and a high beam and a low beam. I did not want to use the low beams on these at all, so I just wired up the high beams and low beams. Basically, the low beam just turns on like the two bottom lights and I think the side peripheral. They're called like IPTs, something integrated peripheral technology. I don't know what they're called, but it really only turns on like 4 of the bulbs out of 8 because there's 6 on the front and 2 on the sides. And so I didn't even care for that. I figure if I'm ever using these, I want all of the lights on at the same time. So I only use the high beam. The high beam is the white lights, the white wires, sorry. So if you look at the connectors, there's that white one, that's the high beam. The red one is a low beam, which we're not using. And then black is ground and yellow is the amber backlighting. So I used the, this is the brand new one, I haven't messed with it yet. What I did was, I unwrapped the whole wire, laid it out, and I noticed that the 2 connectors like this that go into the back of the LPs, they both have really long leads on them, and then they meet up and go 2 into 1 like a Y. And right where they turn into the Y is where I cut them, so I would have both lights wired in and only a single set of 4 lights coming out, or 4 wires coming out the other end, if that makes sense. So once I had that, I only had 4 wires to worry about, and I basically ran one of the ground wire. I just ran it to the ground on the TRX up here at the front. I have these 2 grounds right here that are factory. I just use this one for my grounds, and I've used this in the past. And so you'll see I have a big bundle. The wire is just coiled up here because it's way too long, but these are the individual LP harnesses that came off each light. And then if you keep tracing it till the very end, which is right here, this is still part of the factory harness that came with the LPs. There's the 2 wires and they turn into 1 right there. And then above, north of that, they just have 4 wires coming out. You can see the 4 wires. The red one, like I said, is for the low beam. I'm not using it, so I just capped it off. I'll probably put electrical tape so this doesn't come off. The white wire, which is for the high beam, I routed directly into my auxiliary 1 switch, which on the TRX is nice. You have 2 50 amp circuits, and they have huge 12 or 10 gauge wire. I can't remember. I think it's 10 gauge wire. And that's really nice because you don't need a relay to run high powered lights. So the LPs run about 7.5 amps each. So that's with all of the lights on at the same time, except for the amber backlight, but all the high beams. So for the 2 of these together, that's the 2 white ones together, that's about, 7.5 times 2 is 15. So 15 amps. I could have put on one of the 20 amp wires or switches, but I figure I don't have anything higher load than that. So auxiliary switches 1 and 4 on the TRX are, sorry I'm talking a lot and it's probably hard to keep track of what I'm saying, but I just want to get it out there for people who want the information. But the auxiliary switches 1 and 4 are both 50 amps, so I'm running my white lights, the outer ones, off of switch 1, the inner ones off of switch 4, so 50 amps each, which we only are using about 15, like I said, so it's way overkill, but that's what I want to use right now. The auxiliary switch number 1 is the pink with the blue wire on the TRXs on the 2021 model year. I'm not sure if they changed it for 22 or future products. So that's where that one goes. The black one, like I said, goes to my ground, and then the yellow one, I spliced in. They give you these like wire tap things you can tap into another line, and they intend it for you to tap into like your daytime running lights or your yellow marker lights on your vehicle or whatever. So I could have tapped into the 3 lights on the hood that come on the TRX right there in the hood scoop, but instead I just tapped into the, like I said, the yellow or the amber backlighting on there on the little pods, pillar pods. So that's all I did, and that's it, and everything works fine now. So I reused the ground, part of the ground strap, just because it has the eyelet already on it that's nice and weatherproof. So I spliced that in right here. I reused the yellow, the amber tap-in harness right here, just a little section of it right there. Used butt connectors to connect all these, and then I used my upfitter switch right here. So I really didn't have to use any of my own wiring, which is nice. And then this, I'm just going to zip tie it and try to tuck it in here when I'm done. But we're going to have 2 of these, one for the whites, one for the ambers. And it's really as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other one butchered up. That's all the stuff I didn't use. It's a relay, a little fuse, and some other stuff. I didn't use the fuse because the circuit on the TRX is already fused, which is a lot cleaner way of doing things than having a fuse dangling in your engine bay. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for this one. Let me turn these on for you just to show you how they look real quick. Actually, let me wait till the end when I'm done and I'll turn them all on. And I just got done with the second wiring harness and I installed everything. So what I ended up doing up here was I just sort of tucked away all of the wires into this area right here in front of the fuse box. There's more room down there, but it's kind of, they're really stout wires, so I don't want to damage anything. So they're not really in the way right now. If I need to get to the fuse box, I can pull them out. It's not a big deal. I removed my exhaust cutout controller that was in here. I don't even know if I got it on video. I think it was at the start of the video. It might have been on there, but I removed that since we're not using it anymore. I plugged off the exhaust cutouts because they were just more pain than they're worth. And everything's wired up here. I tapped into the amber lights a second time up here for the 2 yellow LPs. And everything's all wired up. And then I went ahead and zip tied, tried to keep everything organized. I zip tied all the lights, as you can see, along the back here, back of the bumper, and then when they go into here, I've got it zip tied there, which you can't see from the front of the truck when you're looking at it. So these are details you'll only see when you're up close. And basically everything is routed through here, through the bumper, and up like right behind where the light is and into the back there. So everything's wired up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn them on for you and show you what they all look like. So for the upfitter switches to work, you have to be in run mode. The car doesn't have to be on, but you do have to click the run mode, the key twice. And then auxiliary switch number 1 right now. Actually, let's start with number 3, which is my, is gonna be all the ambers. And you will see my ambers on here are on the M&R Automotive ones. And then you come around to the front and voila, all of the ambers come on, which looks super cool, I think. The backlight. That's what they look like. They have a few LEDs in the back behind the light. So regardless of amber or white Baja Designs lights, they all have the amber backlighting on the LP6 and above, I think. I'm not sure if the LP4s have them. Next, we're gonna shut those off. And then we're gonna hit number 1, which is the white, the outer 2. And that's what they look like. A little hard for the camera to pick them up, but they are super bright. And then we're gonna go ahead and turn them off and hit the auxiliary switch number 4, which is the 2 ambers in the center. And that's what the amber light looks like. And there they are right in the middle. So that's what all the lights look like. I'm gonna go ahead and probably go outside and take some video of what they look like in the dark, because it's dark outside. And that should wrap up the install video. So I'm parked in the truck right now, just facing outside, and I'm kind of at a slight downhill angle, so you see my headlights are kind of low on the ground where they normally would be up here somewhere, just because I'm angled downwards. It's raining, so I left my wipers on just to give you a clearer image, but right now I have this normal headlights on, just the TRX stock headlights turned on. I'm gonna go ahead and hit auxiliary switch number 1, which is my white LP6s. So that's what they look like. The camera did adjust, but they're pretty bright. They might be aimed a little bit outwards and low right now. I'm gonna turn them off now, and that's back to normal headlights. Here's the brights on the TRX. They're kind of focused right in the middle. They're pretty good at lights though. I like the headlights on this truck a lot. And then let me go to the amber LP6s in addition to my headlights. Now I'm going to turn off the headlights. And that's what it looks like without anything. Here's the ambers again. They light up stuff pretty good. And then here's the whites. So I'll turn on that's all of the ambers, the backlights. Of course, they don't do much. They don't really put out a ton of light. But yeah, so that's the lights. I hope you guys enjoyed this wiring video. It was a little different than normal, but I like to keep track of all my mods just for people that ask me questions about them. So yeah, I really like the lights. I'll do some off-road testing with them, see how they do off-road at night. We have a winter event coming up called Wendigo Watch, and it's on January 22nd to 23rd of 2022. So it's coming up in about a month from when this video is being published. And some of you viewers have actually signed up for the event, which is awesome. Look forward to meeting you all in person. But if you're not signed up, stay tuned. We are sold out. I might open a few more spots depending on the permit we get from the DNR and from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. But if not, stay tuned for a cool off-road video with all the trucks. We'll do a pre-run the week before, and then we'll head out there for the event. So thanks guys for watching. Catch you on the next one.